The topic for this week is on crisis communication and negotiation. So in the first part, I'm going to share with you how actually we manage crisis. Okay? So in the second part, I'm going to talk on the negotiation. Between this first part and the second part, crisis communication and negotiation, they are actually related to one another. In order to handle the crisis, you need to know how to negotiate. So that's why these two subtopics here, crisis management and negotiation, need to go together. So there are 5 objectives for this first part, crisis communication, in which uh, in order to engage, to handle a crisis, you need to be able to understand what is the meaning of crisis. This is the learning objective number 1. If you know the meaning of crisis, then you know what are you confronting on, right? And then what are the nature of crisis management? And the third objective, how do you plan to handle the crisis, the process involved? And number 4, in order to handle crisis, you need to be able to write, okay, to write or to produce effective messages. Okay, effective messages, because all the crises need to be answered, need to be responded. So you need to be able to produce effective and responsible messages. And finally, the final objectives of this, the first part of this topic is on how actually we handle complaints and rumors. Okay, so basically these are the 5 learning objectives. So now, as I said before, in order for you to handle, to manage crisis, you need to know what is crisis. So crisis can be defined as a catastrophe. It can be because of the natural disasters like flood. Now we have experienced, some of our friends could be experience big flood in Peninsula, especially in Pahang and other states. So this is what we call a crisis: flood, earthquake. This is a crisis, fire, and so on. Yeah, and some crisis because of our, as a result of human error. Some crises are the result of human errors. When we talk about human errors, it is a crisis whereby because of our negligence. Okay, because of our negligence, because of our attitude, then crisis happen. In summary, we can say, and this is the good one, malicious intent. Okay, malicious intent here referring to if people have, have intention towards people don't like this, then create something which is also called crisis. So in summary, basically, when we talk about crisis, it can be divided into 2 categories. First category is natural disaster, which is not predicted, which cannot be predicted. The second category of crisis is because of human error or human wrongdoing. So these are the 2 crises, and in handling these 2 crises, this kind of crisis, we have many ways on handling them. Yeah? There are many strategies can be applied in order for us to handle those crises. If you look at the small rectangular down here, this is the to cover learning objective number 2, yeah, managing crisis. So when we face crisis, when we not facing any crisis, the first thing that should come into our mind is priorities. Okay, for example, if you are caught in fire in the building with your friend, okay, you are caught in the building, let's say lah tingkat 10, 10 floor, 10 floor. You get caught in the fire. What do you need to do first? Okay, whether you want to escape by yourself or whether you want to put off the fire. These are options for priorities, or maybe you want to save your friend first who is already collapsed because of the smoke, for example. So in facing crisis, you will be in a situation where you have so many options. When you are facing crisis, you actually have so many options, but unfortunately, most of the time, people see options. They only see one option, saving their life, for example. So this is what we call priorities. Okay, so in handling crisis, we need to know what is the priority. Secondly is the plan. You caught in the fire, so what is actually the plan? What are you going to do? First, second, and so on. But of course lah, when you are caught in fire, you cannot think of that, kan? Mana ada masa kan? Api sudah marak, so you don't have the plan. But look at it at different scenario. Look at it as you are the fireman. You are the fireman. You want to save those people caught in the building. What is the plan? So in managing crisis, we need to have the plan. And then many organization, they must think that one day they might face crisis. No organization can escape from facing a crisis. Crisis will occur to any organization. Okay, so we must put in our mind that crisis will happen. If we put in our mind that crisis is going to happen, of course we are going to have the managing plan, the management plan. We are going to know the priorities in any situation. And finally, when we handling crisis, we must show support. Okay, we must show support. Support here means we must show our empathy. Okay, empathy. Don't straight away to blaming. Okay, don't straight away to blaming. We need to show the empathy first. Either you, especially if you are in the rescue teams or you are in the crisis management teams. What we need to do is we must show the empathy first. So in facing any crisis, these are the 4 characteristics. Yeah. Actually, this one I got from my research. I found that there are 4 characteristics of crisis. Number 1 is element of surprise, which means that crisis happen it so sudden. Okay, crisis happen so sudden. You don't know when is the crisis is happening. It is so sudden that, of course, you don't have any preparation. So this is the first characteristic, crisis. The second characteristics of crisis that when we have crisis, we don't have much information of what actually causing the crisis. Okay. Before that, in applying this concept, put yourself in a management, in the crisis management team. Yeah, put yourself in the crisis management team for your organization. So number 1, you must know that crisis had occurred so sudden. You don't know, you don't have the information. And then the third one is crisis takes place very quickly. Okay, the pace is very quickly. You don't have many time to solve the crisis. So all the time when you manage the crisis, you are in a rush. Okay, you are in, people are waiting for your action, your next action, and your final action. So the pace of event in handling the crisis works very fast, very fast. And then, of course, when there is a crisis, because of the surpriseness, lack of information, and the quickness of the crisis, you might have caused some, intense scrutiny. Intense scrutiny means many people, many stakeholders are going to put a blame, giving no hope and so on. So these are the characteristic of crisis, that if you are in the crisis management team, you have to know these four characteristics. And if you aware, I also upload in the YouTube, I upload in the YouTube a short video about crisis, I upload in the Instagram as well, in which when we face crisis, we actually are not managing the crisis, don't manage the crisis, but lead the crisis. What is the difference between leading the crisis and managing the crisis? When we talk about managing the crisis, it is means to comfort, to only give an answer of what causing the crisis. That is managed. But when we lead, meaning to say when we lead, that means that we not only give the answer, but we also provide solution. So that's why the first rules when we encounter crisis, we must put in our mind that we are going to lead this crisis, leading to where? Leading to the end of the problem or the crisis, so that at the end of the day, the problem is going to disappear, and all people got compensation accordingly. So this is what we call leading a crisis. And in order to lead this crisis successfully, we must have good team. Okay, we must have good team in our crisis team. Later on, I will show you about cross-functional team. Yeah? So these good teams is what becomes a muscle, a muscle to our strength. That is why I call it build crisis muscle. Here it is referring to, if you have good team, then you can solve the crisis. You can lead the crisis to the end. So one example is that in your team you must have people from relevant department. Later I will share with you. And the third step is that you know your environment and calibrate strategies and communication accordingly. Here is what we refer to, you know your strength. When you know your strength, you know the situation, the environment, meaning to say if you want to say anything about the crisis, if you become the spokesperson of the organization, you need to know the overall context. What led to the crisis, what strategies that you are going to execute, and what is the possible solution of the crisis, and how long it's going to end, for example. This is the third competency, which is know your environment and calibrate strategies and communication accordingly. Wow. Okay, basically when we have crisis, these are the three stages of crisis. Pre-crisis, crisis, and post-crisis. Pre-crisis is the case whereby we already had experience about crisis. So in the future, we can do the pre-crisis preparation. Okay, so the pre-crisis referring to that we assuming, or we maybe had crisis experience, and with that experience we establish strategies for future preparation. So preparedness, mitigation mean leading the crisis to end. Prevention mean to ensure that crisis is not going to continue to a disaster and so on. How to to curtail the impact of the crisis. But most of the time during crisis, the reason why I put crisis in the black box, response, recovery, development. These are the three basic or general steps when we have crisis that we need to have ready, in which we need to know how to respond to crisis, and then what is the recovery plan, and also development, how we go about from from day one to day two, or from the first minute to the end of crisis prevention. Post crisis is of course we do we do some revisions. Okay, we do some revision. We gave some compensation and what we actually learn from it, so that it can be useful for future pre-crisis preparation. So this basically the ideas here in which crisis may take place. Okay. During the crisis, this slide is actually, I'm not going to focus deeply on this slide. You can read based on the flow, actually how do we handle crisis when we are facing crisis. Okay, in planning a crisis, most important thing is we need to know what are we going to communicate. Okay, when we have crisis, what are we going to communicate, and we need to know what are the responsibilities that we must fulfill. Okay, we must fulfill. Of course, one of the example is, for example, compensation. Okay, but I'm not going to discuss that specifically. The ideas that I want to share with you is that the most important thing when we have crisis is communication and containment. Okay, communication means how can we communicate to the people. For example, when we have the crisis, especially the media, and other stakeholders. Containment means how can we prevent the crisis to become bigger and bigger. From small crisis, we need to ensure that it's not going to become a disaster. We want to avoid the disasters, and most importantly, of course, in any situation, in any organization, especially those important organization, when there is a crisis, they are going to face media. So again, communication is very important. And then one more thing is that when crisis occurs, not everyone in the organization can provide the information to media, for example. Okay, the organization must be presented by the most authorized person. So if the crisis involves the image of the organization, basically the CEO. CEO. What is CEO? Chief Executive Officer. The head of the organization is the spokesperson. The reason because the CEO has the authority. Has the authority to release information to media, for example, or any stakeholders require explanation of why the crisis is occurring. And when in order to handle the crisis, we must know how to channel the information. Basically, I'm referring the importance of telling the public what actually causing the crisis and how bad the crisis is. So in order to tell the public, of course, intermediate is the media. This is where for big organization, they must know how to prepare press release and so on. This slide shows you what I have been talking about from the previous slide. I just put it in a graphic form. Okay, you just look at the graphic. This is actually what I already shared with you in the previous slide. in managing a crisis, you must have plan. Okay, if you remember just now, I'm showing you pre-crisis, crisis, post-crisis. So this plan is referring to when crisis is happening. When crisis is happening, we must have plan. The first plan, the first priority is how are we going to respond if crisis is occurring in our organization? How are we going to respond? For example, if you watch yesterday's live announcement by our Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin on the announcement of the Darurat or MCO, actually this is a good example of response by our Prime Minister. Okay, immediately after attending ke bawah duli Yang Maha Mulia Sultan, 45 minutes from that, I think around 30 minutes like that, the Prime Minister went live. Okay, went live to share with people of Malaysia that we are going to enter MCO or PKP under the ordinance of Darurat. Okay, that is a good response. Because before that, prior of that, there are so many rumors. So the immediate step taken by Prime Minister is the example of good response. And the ideas of responding like this is to ensure that the awareness, that people know the reality, the real situation. Okay, so that people will not negatively affected by the rumors, okay, of so many interpretation by the netizen. Okay, and in planning for crisis, managing the crisis or leading the crisis, we need to have a recovery plan. So yesterday's live announcement by the Prime Ministers include all these three things actually. The Prime Ministers mentioned also about when is the MCO is going to end. So he narratively explained how this MCO is going to happen under the ordinance of the Darurat. Okay, so that is the recovery tax given by the Prime Minister. That's a good example of a handling crisis. So this pandemic COVID-19 is actually the biggest crisis lah so far. Because this crisis is experienced by all countries all over the world, and if you notice, if you aware, global, people are talking about how to face this pandemic COVID crisis. As I said, the most important thing when we have crisis, we need to be able to tell the public. When we have crisis, we cannot hide things. We cannot sembunyi things. We must tell the public of what actually happening. But of course, some messages could not be given detail, but enough to calm the situation. Okay, enough to calm the situation. So these are the process of structuring a messages. In any messages, we must first express our concern. Okay, we are for example, we are unfortunate that pandemic COVID-19 has taken most of our time, but we believe that this act of God is going to improve many occasions of people life from here onward. For example, this is kind of expressing concern messages, yeah, and we explain the corrective actions. When we communicate, we tell the public that we are not going to lose, we are not going to back down, we are not going to stop here. We are going to handle or lead this crisis successfully. So this is corrective action. So we tell public people what are the action to be taken. Provide instruction in, for example, MCO, yeah. Prime Minister said, so everybody must follow SOP. You cannot go across the district, for example. Don't worry, it's only 14 days, for example. So these are kind of instruction. And then excuse, or it can be excuse or it can be justification. People give excuse if we know that, if they know that the true story is going to worse things out, but most of the time they're not going to excuse, they're going to give justification. Yeah? Provide compensation, this one of course. When there is life involved, any organization must give compensation and apology. So basically this is how message is going to crafted. Yeah? Crafted. So far okay kah, student?
Okay, sir.
Okay semua.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to talk very fast. As I said, this is our. Oh, by the way, this is our last class. This is our last lecture. Next week, I might provide you all with asynchronous learning. Whether I put video or notes and I upload in Smart 3, for example. Or I ask you all to go to YouTube, for example. I'm going to do the revision actually, but I put it somehow in a form of video and so on. Notes, Okay, so in crafting or preparing these messages, I said earlier, you are actually doing it in a very fast move, okay, in a split second manner. So imagine, imagine if you don't have good team, if you don't have the right team members in managing the crisis, which I call cross-functional team. If you don't have the cross-functional team, you are going to handle all things very slow, because in crisis it's always about time pressure, and so that's why you need people with good written communication, you need people with good investigative nature, you need department that know about law and so on, right? And then in handling the messages, you need to be able to to chase the time, and then you need to know how to modify statements or responses in the forms of announcement through letters, email, and so on. In responding to external complaints and handling negative rumors in the social age, these are some of the steps can be taken, okay, to handle the complaints and rumors. Okay, gather the facts, okay, avoid heavy-handedness, respond quickly, use the appropriate channels, rely on external advocates, respond with credential. Rely on external advocates, maybe some of you don't understand, I believe not all of you understand, means that when we try to offer a solution, we might not have the expert advice in our organization. So what happens is we get opinion, or we get a fact from external sources. So this is what we call rely on external advocates. Meaning to say, when organization is facing crisis, they must also expand their strategies by getting advice from external sources. Right? This is what I talk about cross-functional team. A good crisis management team is the team whereby the team members inclusive of people who can decide, people who can communicate well, bosses or head of department, relevant departments, somebody who can lead the teams, and then expertise. So these are pools of team members that should be in the crisis management team. Handling crisis is not a one-man show. That is the fact. It's different from other efforts or other things that people do in the organization. But handling crisis is not a one-man show. It is a team show. Okay, the teams comprises of people who are good at various skills. For example, as I wrote there, these are what we call necessary skills. Yeah. I just want to share with you some example. You know Tan Sri Nur Isham, our Deputy General of Kementerian Kesihatan, yeah? Ministry of Health. Actually, last time Tan Sri Isham was certified or was announced as one of the best pandemic COVID handling manager in the world. Okay, if I remember, if I'm not mistaken, he is in the third or fourth, like that, the best manager for pandemic COVID crisis. But that before the third wave, yeah. So nowadays is very difficult to to retain that achievement because of the people conscience. Yeah, people seems to not taking full precaution anymore. So we are in Malaysia alone. We are already in the fourth digit of COVID-19. So this is the case study point of discussion. Number one, why the I already provide you with this slide. I believe you already read, yeah. This is our example of solution. So the first question is spokesperson. Who is the spokesperson? So basically, as I said, when we have crisis, the most authorized person is the spokesperson. Okay, this is the number 3 world top 3 doctors. Yeah, world recognition for Tan Sri Nur Isham. Yeah? Okay, why he become the spokesperson? Because two of the identity is his calmness. If you notice, when Tan Sri Isham go live, it's very cool. It's very calm. So this is the characteristic. And when he mentioned, he say the whatever reports, he did it with full clarityness. Okay, clarity. His clarity is very, very clear. Okay, very clear. And in any case, when we handling the crisis, we must always rely on accuracy. Yeah? We cannot say those figures or those situations where we are not sure. We must make sure, and then we must have facts instead of opinion when we handle crisis. Accuracy and decision making. So if you notice, when our prime ministers goes live, it's always a decision making thing, because prime minister is number 1 in the country. In organization, number 1 is chief executive officer, for example. So these are all the people we categorize as authorized spokesperson. I just want to to include this slide on crisis communication because last time when we talk about public relation officer, actually this term is what being used before this, like many years ago. But nowadays people don't seem to use this phrase anymore, public relation officer. There are many terms. For example, banking industry, they are using relationship manager instead of public relation officer. But the idea is, when you handle a crisis, you are actually doing the public relation task, yeah? In which as yourself individually, you must know what is your plan, what the how to develop the plan, how to put into practice or to put in place, and you yourself know which one is opinion, which one is fact, for example, and how are you going to communicate this. This is the the individual characteristic. Remember, a team comprises of more than one person. Okay, now we are in the social age. Social age means we are facing many challenges because information penetrates the hard walls. Kamu paham gak tuh? Maksudnya penetration. Kenapa si Tan Chun Wen masuk nih? Sopa oke kah? Student, are you there?
Yes,
Okay.
So far so good, sir.
So far so good, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Boring kah? Boring kah?
No.
Boring kan?
No lah, sir. No.
Yeah, because yeah. Why suddenly there is Tan Chun Wei in the slide? No, hilang sudah. Okay, I continue ya. Ethical responsibility, social responsibility, economic responsibility. Basically, this slide referring to the responsibility. Okay, for crisis, the responsibility could be is the ethical responsibility. Okay, crisis is all about ethic responsibility. Okay, so that is the end of part 1. Now I go to part 2, which is negotiation. Earlier, I share with you that in order to handle crisis, you must be able to communicate well. So when you communicate, actually you are doing a negotiation. Okay, those plans, those strategies that you are going to take when you are handling crisis, actually you are in some form of negotiating. So that is why negotiation skill is very important for anybody in the crisis management team. You have to negotiate with the victims, you have to negotiate with the reporters, you have to negotiate with the stakeholders, and so on. Because to handle that crisis, you need time. So that time is the process of negotiating. Okay, not only when you have terrorist cases you are negotiating. Actually, when you handle crisis, you are also negotiating. So the most important thing when you negotiating, you must know how to converse, how to communicate. So when you communicate, you do conversation with people, you must make sure that you leave a positive impression. Leaving positive impression means that you must show to people that you are capable of handling the crisis. Okay, and in order to ensure that is what people think of you, first rule is that, as I said in the first part, you must show empathy. When you show empathy to people, people will consider you as a capable person that will leave positive impression to people. So until you have good communication or conversation like that, then you can negotiate. Negotiation can end up in many results. Yeah, in many results. First, it can end up with win-loss. you win, people lost. Win-win, you win, people win. Loss-win, you lost, people win. Loss-loss, both of you lost. So this is the theory in negotiation. Theory in negotiation, win-loss, win-win, loss-win, loss-loss. So basically, of course, the good result is to have win-win situation, yeah, not win-loss or loss-win or loss-loss, win-win situation. So, but of course, when we have crisis, there's going to be losers. Losers in the form of life, losers in the form of properties, losers in the form of position and so on. But referring win-win mean is that what is the best result that can comfort both us and the victims, for example. All right. So these are the ability that a good negotiator need to have, yeah, ability to listen and understand and so on. So this one you can read, read further. And most of the time, why people don't want to negotiate? Because of three things. First, people fear of developing a poor relationship, fear of failure, and fear of rejection. This is common lah. This is common when people don't want to negotiate because of these three things. But not all people experience this reality, but these are the most common reality why people don't want to negotiate. This slide show you how to why people want to negotiate and why people not want to negotiate. I think it is clearly written there. You just read. For example, we negotiate when there are areas of agreement and disagreement. This is understood lah, kan? There is a requisite flexibility for negotiation to happen. There is room to solve the problem, for example. So people want to negotiate. If people see no hope, they don't want to negotiate. That is what the meaning of the statement. And there is a will to negotiate from the parties involved. Of course, if the result of negotiation will benefit either parties, negotiation will take place. So similar, like opposite to why people want to negotiate, you can read why people don't want to negotiate. Phases of negotiation, you must have planning, preparation and briefing. Bidding mean guessing or believe that the solution is there is a chance to handle the crisis successfully. This is what we call bidding. Settling the deals, confirming the deal. So basically this step here is referring to business deal actually, not to crisis. This is the business deal. But again, the basic idea is why people want to negotiate, because people want to make sure that at the end of the day, both parties get benefit from the negotiation. Qualities of good negotiators, these are all the qualities. I'm not going to explain this further unless you want me to explain it, because it is self-defined. Okay, that's all for today. I think I already covered all the topics provided for corporate communication. The reason, the problem with, not the problem, the context is that we don't have physical lecture. Okay, this is the context that the student need to understand. Because we don't have the physical context, might be some of you might be feeling that I don't learn anything. For example, you must know the context. Imagine your sisters, your younger sisters, your younger brothers at schools, high school, because some of them now are studying at home, in which you all managed to study in school. So putting that context in your context in university, maybe some of you feel like you don't learn anything, but actually you learn so many things because of this pandemic COVID-19. You know why? Because you sit at your home properly and you are able to listen to the lecture provided by the lecturers. Only that you don't have that physical experience. But in terms of knowledge, I believe, this is my own research, this pandemic COVID actually benefit learner more than those learner who have the physical experience, because you don't have to spend your energy, you don't have to spend much of your time going one place to another to get the knowledge. You just stay safe at home, sleep, makan tidur, and attending class. So in term, what I'm trying to say is that in terms of wealth of knowledge, I think this pandemic COVID give learners more information. It's only the experience, but experience is you are going to have the experience, I believe. Inshallah, this COVID-19 is going to end very soon. Yeah, I always believe on that. So that is my final words to you all for this semesters. When you come back to UMS next semesters and you are able to go to the faculty, if you come across me, you just say hi and I say bye. That's all. Thank you very much. Any question?